Have you ever wondered why some bilingual and multilingual learners seem capable, knowledgeable, and confident, but they still struggle when they enter a new school system? Now, today I want to talk a little bit about why that happens and what it really means for students in our classrooms. Now, let me start with the cactus analogy. I think we spoke about it before. So imagine a cactus living in the desert. It's thriving, it's adapting perfectly to the climate. It knows how to survive, it can grow nicely and flourish exactly where it is. Now imagine taking that cactus and moving it to a completely different environment, somewhere with a different climate, different soil, different conditions. Now that cactus doesn't suddenly become capable, but it will struggle. It may survive, but thriving does take time. And it will require changes in how we care for it. So our bilingual and multilingual learners are a lot like that cactus. In their home countries or previous schools, many BMLs were thriving. They were using their languages confidently, they understood the cultural expectations, and they knew how learning worked in their system, and they knew how to succeed. And most of all, many of them felt they belonged and they were comfortable. But when they enter a new school system, especially a Western style education system, everything changes all at once. And for older students, this adjustment can be particularly challenging. So let's imagine the academic adjustments. In mathematics, for example, a student may already know how to solve problems and complete computations, but they may have learned that in a very different way. And now they are expected to relearn the same content in a new way. And in many countries, the writing process also looks very different. Students may not be expected to share personal opinions or original ideas. Instead, they may be taught to reproduce collective knowledge or share expert perspectives. So when students enter a classroom where they're suddenly expected to share opinions, defend those ideas, and express themselves freely, this can make a lot of children really uncomfortable. And that's not ideal for learning. And it's not because they lack ability, but it's because those expectations may conflict with the values that they were raised with. Now, this brings us to the idea of collective versus individual societies. In many collective societies, the good of the group matters more than individual expression. Knowledge is shared, authority is respected, and harmony is prioritized. In Western education systems, on the other hand, the values are individual voice, independent thinking, personal opinions and ideas. Now, neither system is better or worse, they're simply different. But when BMLs move from one system to another, they're not just learning new content, they're learning a new worldview. And that takes time, sometimes years. Now, why this matters for us as teachers? Now, as educators, it's important to remember that when students struggle, it is often not an academic weakness. It may be just adjustment. So here's something we encourage you to do. So first of all, we want you to really take a good look at your students and understand where they're coming from. What's their perspective? Which students come from collective societies and which come from individual societies? This understanding can change how you interpret participation, confidence, writing style, and classroom behavior. It can also become a really powerful conversation in your classroom. You could say something like, in this education system, we value sharing ideas and opinions, and I understand that in other systems, learning might be very different. What do you know about that? Or how was your experience from your country or culture? Now, this conversation can help build trust and help you get to know them better. Now, most importantly, we don't want students to feel that what they bring is wrong. If they already know different ways of learning, thinking, or expressing ideas, these are actually strengths. We don't want to erase them. But what we can do is allow students to gradually learn new systems while still valuing the ones that they already have. And over time, this gives students something incredibly powerful. It enables them the ability to move smoothly between two different worldviews. And that's not a weakness, that is amazing richness. So just like the cactus, our BMLs can thrive again, but only when we understand the environment that they come from and how they have to adjust, and also how we can support them. And when we do that, we don't just help them to survive, we really help them to flourish.